Om Sadashivasamarambam Vyasashankaramध्यमाम् Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhi Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamasta Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadhatmani Nirate Ya Upanishassu Dharmaste Mayi Santu Te Mayi Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in 3.11, we saw how Indra was trying to understand who this Yaksha was. So when he went close to the Yaksha decided not to even talk to him. And he just disappeared from the place. But the reason why he disappeared was because Indra itself has got Abhimanam. Abhimanam means he's got the pride in him that he is the Indra. So he is someone who knows everything. He's above, and he always had a false pride in him that he is the Lord of everybody. So Abhimanam. And this Abhimanam is also not ordinary Abhimanam. Atitaram Abhimanam means excessive Abhimanam. So one has got success in life, then the person has got excessive Abhimanam, Atitaram. So for that particular reason, the Yaksham, the celestial appearance of this Sagunam Brahma, appeared in front of the Indra's court to remove the arrogance. So to remove the arrogance, that if somebody has got a false pride, see, imagine if the Asuras had got false pride, he would side the Indra, he would side the Devatas would be victorious. But if the Devata itself become an Asura, see, false Abhimanam is also Asuric quality only. So if the Devatas were supposed to be the protector of the universe, the protector of everybody here, if they themselves get covered by this Abhimanam of false pride, then there is nothing here. Asuras are also the adharmic, then Devatas are also become very powerful, then they will just be doing what they want. So this cannot happen for the protection of Dharma. For that, because of this, the Yaksha didn't want to talk to this Indra. So for everybody else, for Agni, he came and asked, who are you? Kim Viryam. He question asked, what is your capability? How are you, etc. Vayu also asked. But when Indra came to see, he just disappeared. That's why you see the last line in 3.11. Samvad matra na api. So Samvad matra na api means what? He was not even willing to talk. Samvada means talk or have a discussion. Matra na api. Not even willing to have a discussion with Indra. So when Indra came to approach this Yaksha, the Yaksha didn't even want to talk to him. He was not angry with Indra, he wanted to show to him, to Indra, who is the Lord, who is ultimate Bhagavan here. So that's where we were in the last class. Then we wanted to start with 3.12, which is page number 22 of the Bhashyam. Sa tasminne vakashe. Sat, so saha. Tasmin avakashe. Shriyam ajagama. So Shriyam ajagama. Bahushobhamana umam. Bahushobhamana umam haimavatim. You are able to follow, right, Uma? First line.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it saha tasmin eva akashe, no?
No, I'll come to that. So, Tasmin
Okay.
eva akashi. Tasmin
Okay.
eva akashi. I'm coming to that. So, I'm just reading the Bhashyam first.
Okay, okay.
So, sa tasmin eva akashi. Shriyamajagama bahushobhamanam umam haimavatim. Then, tam huacha kinedat yakshamiti. So, saha tasmin eva akashe. So here akashe here talks about without moving from that place. So where the Indra saw Yaksha, and from that place he didn't even move anywhere. He was just stationary in that place. He was standing still where the Yaksha disappeared in front of him. And in that place, when because being Indra, he cannot go back to Indraloka and claim defeat, saying that, look, I was not able to understand who the Yaksha was. And being the Lord, Indra, he is of the nature of contemplation. So he was contemplating and he was meditating, sitting there in the same place without moving. So this shows the Purushartha Nishchayam of Indra. See, other people, Agni or the Vayu, they came and they disappeared. They went back saying that, no, it is not possible for us to find out. It was too difficult. They were not willing to put that extra effort to know who it was. But Indra, being a different type of person, a meditative person, a contemplative person, he just sat there without moving from the place, and he just closed his eyes and he wanted to really know who this Yaksha was. So there was a desire in him to know who this was. So unless there is a desire in a person to know what it is, you will not be interested to pursue further. So only when there is a curiosity there, this jigyasu, bhakti is there, then only it is possible for one to know. So that's why he talks about here, saha tasmin eva akashe. So akashe means in that sphere or the space where he was standing and meditating, there appeared Shriyam. So Shriyam means there was a shining and a very beautiful celestial person. Ajagama. So Shriyam Ajagama means manifested. So there was a very beautiful, shining, celestial being which manifested in front of Indra. And how was this celestial being? Bahushobhamana. So Bahushobhamana means very, very beautiful. See, Shobha means Shobhate means shining. Shobhate means shining. One second, I'm just trying to. So Shobha means beautiful. Shobhate means shining. And Shobhamana means the one who is shining. So, and how Bahu Shobhamana. So Bahu means very, very beautiful. So in front of Indra, a beautiful celestial person appeared, and this celestial being was very, very beautiful in appearance. And so Uma was the person, or Uma was the maiden who appeared in front of Indra. And Uma is also referred to as Haimavatim. So Umam Haimavatim. So Uma itself means power. If you look at the word Om, Akara, Ukara, Makara, the Om itself is interchanged with the words called Uma. So the words are jumbled, but the meaning is the same. This is Ukara, Makara, Akara. So Uma stands here for the power of the Lord. Power of the Lord. Power of the reality also is called Uma, power. And when you have the power, it also has got knowledge also. Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. All the things are put together in such a. So Uma, when the person appeared in front of this Indra, she was a person who was of a celestial nature, Shriyam, Ajagama manifested, and who was the nature of Bahushobhamanam and of the nature of the name of Haimavatim. Then Tam Ha Uvacha. So he asked Uma, Tam Ha Uvacha means Indra asked this Uma, Kim Etat Yakshamiti. So when Uma appeared in front of Indra, Indra had opened his eyes, and then he asked the question, just now I saw one celestial person, and he, as soon as I came in front of him, he just disappeared in front of me, and I would like to know who that person was. So here Uma represents Brahma Vidya. Uma represents Brahma Vidya. So when there is a desire in a person to seek knowledge, and once Purushartha Nishchaya is very clear, and one is a Jigyasu Bhakta, or the desire to know, then for such a person, knowledge appears in front of something or the other. So we always say that whenever you want to know something and there's a desire in you to learn, then you don't have to go after a teacher. You don't have to look for a teacher, because the teacher is always available. It is just that your own, pratibandhas, your own, difficulties are the one which is you're not able to reach the teacher. So as soon as you shed the inhibitions, you remove all those unwanted desires, and your Purushartha Nishchaya is very clear, then the teacher also appears in front of you. So here also, when Indra understood that this Yaksha was ignoring him, and he wanted to really know who this person was and how could such a person ignore him, so his desire to know was more intense than before. See, before itself, when in the court, when the Vayu and Agni were talking about this Yaksha, his interest arose many times before. But he was not able to go and experiment first, because being the Lord, he would not like to just go and get into the war first. So normally he would send the generals first. The people who can be trusted, they send them first. If they can't achieve, then finally the king goes. So already the interest was kindled in Indra to know about this person who is of the nature of something very strange, something very celestial, very auspicious. And when he approached this celestial being, when it disappeared, his interest became more intense. His desire to know this became more intense. So when the desire was intense, when he was meditating or contemplating on who it was, I want to know, I want to know, I want to know, then Uma in the form of Brahma Vidya appeared in front of him. That's what he says here. Shriyam Ajagama Bahushobhamana Uma Haimavatim Tam Hauvacha Kim Yetat Yakshamiti. So who is this Yaksha is what is asked. So now let's look at the Bhashyam. Tad Yaksham Yasmin Akashe Akasha Pradeshe. So Yasmin Akashe means in the place, and the adjective given is Akasha Pradeshe. So it was in the space where Indra saw this Yaksha. Atmanam. So Atmanam Darshayitva. So he saw this Yaksha through his own power of knowledge what he had, and he saw this Yaksha, and he just, what happens after that? Tirobhutam. So Tirobhutam means disappeared. So as soon as he saw this Yaksha, immediately it just disappeared. He was not even willing to understand what is happening there. So Indrascha Brahmanaha Tirodana Kale Yasmin Akashe Asit Sa Indraha. So Asit Indraha means he was sitting there. So he sat there because this Yaksha disappeared. So what shall we do? He cannot go back. He doesn't know anybody else who can teach him. So he was sitting there meditating, contemplating on what he knew. And his desire was firm and very clear. So Tasmin Eva Akashe Tastau Kim Tad Yakshamiti Dhyayan. See the word Dhyayan. So Dhyayan means that means he's focusing, he's meditating. So the word Akasha Pradeshe Asitsa Indra. What was he doing there? Dhyayan. He was meditating on this unique principle of the unique, Yaksha which appeared in front of him. Then, Na Nivavrutte Agnayadivat. So, Na Nivavrutte means what? He cannot return back. So, Nivavrutte means return. And Na Nivavrutte means he cannot return back, or he could not go back. He could not go back like whom? Agnayadivat. So Agnayadivat means Agni, Adi, etc. Like Agni and the Vayu, etc. In that way, he could not just return back. Tasyendrasya Yakshe Bhaktim Buddhva. See, so Tasya Indrasya. So for now in this Indra, this Yakshe Bhaktim Buddhva. So the bhakti towards the Yaksha. So the bhakti towards this particular Yaksha, Buddhva means having recognized. So now he recognized that this person who appeared in front of him, or he was not an ordinary person. He was somebody different whom I don't know who he is, but I want to know who that person is. So Buddhva means having recognized, having realized that there is something which is superior than me. There is somebody who is actually also superior than me, who cannot ignore me also. See, Indra cannot be ignored. that, because Indra is supposed to be the Devata of the Devatas. So one can get angry with somebody else, but not with Indra, because Indra's Krodham is very famous. If he gets angry, he can get all the other Devatas to punish. So it can bring extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme weather, rain, flood, famine, thunder, lightning. All of them, he has got weapons to push any person to submission. So when such a person of such a pride, Atitaram, Abhimanam, finally meets somebody who is more intelligent than him, or who has a capacity to ignore him and walk away, and the person who creates chanchalatvam in him, some sort of disturbance in him, his bhakti towards such a person increased. So he was not angry with the person, his bhakti towards him increased. That's what it says here. Tasyendrasya yakshe bhaktin buddhva vidya. So what is vidya? Knowledge manifested. So the knowledge arose in him that this person is not something to be ignored, it has to be known. So you have to know this particular phenomenon or who it is. So there's a desire for knowledge. So when the knowledge is, is required, when this deeper desire for to know, then what happened? Uma Rupini. So in the form of Uma. So Uma represents here Durga. So Durga is personified as Maya. So Durga is Maya, Maya Shakti, the power which is of the nature of. Without the power, the Brahman also cannot manifest. See, the power has to be there for the consciousness to manifest. Consciousness need not manifest by itself, it can remain as unmanifest. But for the Brahman to manifest, you need the power. So Uma represents here the Shakti, the power of Brahman, the power of knowing. So Uma Rupini, Pratur Bhuta Stri Rupa. So Pratur Abhut or Pratur Bhavati. So Pratur Abhut or Pratur Bhavati means manifests. And how does the knowledge manifest? In the form of Sri Rupa. So in the feminine form, in the form of a woman. So Tasyendrasya yakshe bhaktim buddhva vidya uma rupini pratharabu Sri Rupa. So the word prathar bhutam, you write it as pradur bhavati, or manifested, or manifests in the knowledge. Then Sa Indraha Tam Umam Bahushobhamanam. So that Indra, see Saha Indra, that Indra, Tam means spoke. So Tam spoke to whom? Umam. So spoke to Uma, the knowledge. Because Uma here represents what? Knowledge here. So she is a guru here. For the one who is appearing as knowledge is a guru. So she is a guru here and Indra is Shishya. And he approached and he says to Uma, who is of the nature of Bahushobhamana. Then Adi Shankara gives adjective here, Sarvesham, he means of all of them. Sarvesham, he means indeed of all of this. Anything which is seen here before, indeed, Shobhamananam Shobhanatama Vidya. See, Shobhamananam Shobhanatama means if something called there is beautiful. Shobhamananam means beautiful. And Shobhanatama means beautiful of the beautiful. So if there was a beauty, there is something else other than beauty, cannot be described, is most beautiful. And what is this most beautiful thing? Is Vidya. So here, even though Uma is coming as Saguna Rupam, and the adjectives are given as beautiful maiden, Stri form, etc. Here Uma represents knowledge. The Saguna Brahma Upasanam is given just for a story only. So one must not dwell too much upon, oh, Uma should be very beautiful, oh, Uma should be very powerful. So it's a name. And the name also has comes with its own power. But what is important is the knowledge which is vested in the power. That is what he wanted to know. And that is what he said, that Yakshe Bhaktim Buddhuha Vidya Umarupini Pratar Bhut Sri Rupa. So he saw the knowledge in the form of Uma, was the form of Sri. So he could see that Uma is somebody who can give knowledge to him, and it doesn't matter whether it's a male or a female, because knowledge doesn't have any gender. It is neutral gender. So it doesn't matter whether you learn from a female or a male. A teacher is a teacher. Right? So the teacher doesn't have any particular sect or something like this. So Sa Indraha Tam Uma Bahushobhamanam Sarvesham Hi Shobhamananam Shobhanatama Vidya. So knowledge that is most beautiful. So the word adjective for Shobhanatama, Shobhamananam Shobhanatama, is an adjective for Vidya, which is of the nature of most beautiful. Tada Bahushobhamaneti Visheshanam Upapannam Bhavati. So this Bahushobhamanam iti Visheshanam means this special attribute. Visheshanam means what is special. And Upapannam means is appropriate. So this knowledge which is described here is of the nature of special Visheshanam. It is not ordinary knowledge. It is something very special. So, and it is appropriate to call this as Bahushobhamanana, because it is of the nature of most beautiful things. And Upapannam Bhavati. So it is appropriate to call this as knowledge is beautiful. Is it clear, Uma, that particular line? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, page number 23. Haimavati Hema Krita Bharanavati Iva Bahushobhamananam iti arthaha. So Haimavatim Hema Krita Bharanavati Iva Bahushobhamanan iti arthaha. So Haimavatim, so Himavati. So when you say Vati, it means it talks about a Stri. It talks about the she, the female. So Himavati or Haimavati. So the one who is a daughter. So Saubhagyavati, when you say, so Saubhagyavati means the person who is actually Saubhagyam or the gifted person. Saubhagyavati. Same way Haimavati. So Himavati, Gunavati. So all this Vati means the holder or the possessor of the attribute. And what is this attribute here? Haimavati or Hima. Hima means snow. So daughter of the snow. So Himalaya is the mountain and Himavati is the daughter of the Himalayas, the mountain. Or the one who resides in the Himalayas is Himavati. So Himavati, Hema. So another adjective for Himavati is given here as Hema. Hema means gold. So who is of the nature of gold? Hema. Hema Krita Abharanam So Hema Krita Abharanam, Krita means made, and Abharanam means gold, ornament. So Hema Krita Abharanam means an ornament made of gold. So this Hemavati is personification of a woman who is adorned in gold ornaments. And Abharanavati means the holder of the particular ornament, or the one who is wearing the ornament is called Abharanavati. Like Hemavati, Gunavati, Saubhagyavati, etc. Abharanavati means the one who is the possessor or the one who is wearing the gold ornaments. So Abharanavati. So Hemavati, Hemakritavati, Hemakriti, Abharanavati, Iva, like that. Bahushobhamanam iti arthaha. So the definition for Bahushobhamanam here is given as, one definition is of daughter of the snow mountain. Second thing is Hemakrita Abharanavati, or the one who is adorned in the gold ornaments, who is of the nature of gold, who is also represents the ornaments also, the gold also. So the cause and the effect, both of them are there, correct? So the gold also is personified as Hema, Hemakrita, the creator, the effect, and also the Abharanavati means the form also. So name, form, function, all of them is personified here as Haimavatim, Hemakrita, Abharanavati, Iva, like that. The meaning is Bahushobhamanam iti arthaha. Is that clear, that particular line? Okay. Atva, or Umeva Himavato Duhita Hemavati. So, so Himavato means the Himalayan mountain, Himavato, or Himavat means the one who is residing, or Himavat is Himalayan mountain there. And Duhita means daughter. So the daughter of the Himalayan mountain is called Hemavati. So two definitions are given here. So Hemavati is given as Hemakrita Abharanavati. Then Atva, or Uma Iva, means the Uma Iva here represents Himavato Duhita Hemavati. Okay. So Hemavati and Abharanakrita, Hemakrita Abharanavati. So this talks about the Saguna Brahma Upasanam, or the form, how it is described here. Now the next line describes the Nirguna Brahma Upasanam, or how this Uma is, knowledge is represented. Nityameva Sarvagyena Ishwarena Saha Vartate iti Nyatum Samatteti Krutva Tam Upajagama Indraha. So Nityameva Sarvagyena Ishwarena Saha Vartate iti Nyatum Samartheti Krutva Tam Upajagama Indraha. So Nityam Eva. So Nityam means always available, is not even missing for a second. Nityam Eva. So for something to be available means it should be always be present. So Nityam, one of the qualities of the consciousness of Brahman. One of the way we describe Nityam. Then Sarvagyena, Sarvagyam. So the word Jna represents knowledge, and Sarvagyaha means the one who is of the nature of all-knowing. Sarvagyaha means the person who is of nature, or who is all-knowing nature. Everything is known. And Alpagyaha means the person who has got little knowledge. So Sarvajnena means of the nature of all knowing. Nityameva of the nature of Nityam. Ishwarena of the nature of Ishvara. So what is Ishvara? Ishvara is a title. It's a status given to the manifested form. So Saguna Brahma also Ishvara. Nirguna Brahma also is Ishvara. And both of them, they don't come and go. The title of Ishvara comes and goes. So whenever there is a manifestation, whenever there is an object of desire or anything object is there, Ishvara gets a title called that particular object. So all the objects put together Ishvara. So when the objects are not there, Ishvara is still existing as unmanifest. Hope you're able to follow, right? Because you're all on off camera. I don't know what you're following or not.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because sometimes if you can shake head, I will know whether you're understanding or not.
Okay.
Then, Ishwarena Saha. So, Vartate means present. Iti Jnatum. So, Jnatum means all knowing or. And Samartheti means capable. Samartha means capable. Right? So, capable of knowing. Krutva tam upajagama Indraha. So Indra approached this Uma, who is of the nature of, we gave one definition of Uma was what? Haimavatin, Haimakritha Abharanavati. Then we saw Himavati or Himavato Duhita Haimavati. We saw the definition of the Saguna Brahma Ishvara. Then now we are seeing the Nirguna Brahma Ishvara, Nirguna Ishvara, where he approached this, Indra approached this Uma, who is of the nature of Nityam, Sarvagyam, Ishvaratvam, Saha. So along with all of them, Jnatum Vartate Iti. So the one who is always of the knowing is present as all knowledge. Jnatum. And Samartha Iti. So Samartha means capable. Samarthyam means the one who is capable of having this knowledge, of having this feature all the time. Krutva tam upajagama Indraha. So Indra now approached this particular Uma, who is given us knowledge here. So what it means that if you want to attain knowledge, you have to approach the teacher. You cannot just randomly sit there and say that I want to know, I want to know, I want to know, but without making an effort. So you'll have to make an effort. Number one, what is required? First thing is you should have a desire. Your desire should never be reduced. So the desire should increase more. That means the penchant desire for that should increase more. Because of that only your interest to pursue something is more solid. And when that is there, then you have to approach the teacher properly, systematically. Then only the teacher will be able to give you knowledge. See, the teacher is not going to come and do pracharam saying that to come everybody here, I'm going to teach this, or you would like to know about this or something like this. When there's interest to generate, or there's a topic of interest, I would like to know this. Like given this Tamil topic also, it never occurred to me. When we had the other day, the puja at my home, the 90th Jayanti, they were all talking, I wish we had a Tamil class, I would like to know Tamil about it. So can we not do a Tamil class? I told them, look, see, we did Tamil class before, and Uma also was there in the class. We did about 3-4 months, then everyone disappeared. Tirobhutam. all of them they desired one by one. Like Yaksha means they just disappeared. Because remember Ruma, right? Thiruvandaram is
Yes.
started. Tayumanu started.
Yes.
Tayumanu. Then
Yes.
one by one they disappeared. Like Agni went and says, no, I can't do anything about this. Then Vayu also went. So we had another Vayu there. We had one Agni there. So Agni also disappeared. Vayu also disappeared. Finally, Indra, there was no Indra there. So obviously they couldn't go and report. So I was the only person there as Indra there.
And you were the only one knowing Tamil also.
No, there was a person in Tamil also, but somehow, she had some other problems, and I don't know what happened. She was from Auckland. She was also from Auckland. So
Krishna was there as usual. He always disappears midway in all classes.
Because he's Tirobhutam. Tirodati Tirobhutam means like he disappears. See, but he's a different Yaksha. He's not a Yaksha. He's not Uma Yaksha. Kim Yat Yetad Yakshamiti is not like this. So that Yaksha is different because the Yaksha is afraid of knowledge, so he disappears. This Yaksha is actually waiting there to teach Indra the knowledge. So it's a different thing. Why I was saying because this Upajagama means approach. So approaching is, Indra is approaching the teacher for knowledge. So Indra is approaching this Uma, who is the nature of all-knowing, Sarvagyena, Ishwarena, Nityameva, Jnatum, Vartate iti, Samartheti, the one who is capable of having efficient cost, the material cost. Such a person is being approached. So then, Tam ha umam kila uvacha pa pracha. So tam ha umam kila. So this Indra approached Uma, definitely indeed approached Uma and asked, Uvacha, Prapacha, had asked. See, Prapacha means had asked. So, what did he ask? Bruhi kim etat. So, please, Bruhi means please tell. Bruhi kim etat. So who is that person? And Darshayitva, having revealed or having shown, Darshayitva, Tirobhutam. See, Tirobhutam comes again here, so disappeared. So Tirobhutam Yaksham iti. So I'm hoping that Shivayana Bodham also, nobody become Tirobhutam. So initially when you start, all of them will be all Ishvara status will be there, Sarvagyam will be there. Then all of a sudden they'll become Alpagya, they'll disappear one by one. That's why I didn't want to take a big text. A lot of people said, we'll do Thirumandiram, etc. Yes, I told, let's first test water with small text, see if how many people are there and how many people can last. After that, we will do other text. So, Tirobhutam Yakshamiti. So, Tam ha umam kila uvacha pa pracha bruhi kimetat darshayitva tirobhutam yakshamiti. So the Uma also here in Rudram there's a word called Namasomaya cha Rudraya cha. Correct? So Namasomaya cha. So Nama sa Uma. So Nama na Somaya cha means Nama saha Uma. Means the one who is Uma Sahitam. He is the one who is worshipped there. Who is Nama Somaya cha Rudraya cha? He is Rudra. So Rudra is worshipped there. So Shiva is a person who is worshipped there. And who is worshipped along with Shiva? Saha Uma. So Nama Somaya cha. So there also Rudram is mentioned there. So the word Umam represents knowledge and Kila means indeed definitely, and he did ask this Uma, Bruhi kimetat darshayitva Tirobhutam Yakshamiti. Is it clear that page number 23? Any questions?
No.
All good?
Yes.
You're fine. You're able to follow my Sanskrit, right? There's no problem in anything, right?
No, sir, it is good.
Then 4.1 in 24, page number 24. Sa brahmeti hovacha brahmano va etat vijaye mahiyadvamiti. Sa brahmeti hovacha brahmano va etat vijaye mahiyadvamiti. I'll conclude. I will not go into this verse now because it's already 11 o'clock for you, Shikanji. I know it's a little late for you. Tato haiva vidachakara brahmeti. So vidachakara brahmeti. So I'll just give a brief meaning what it is. So the first one, sa brahmeti. The first brahmeti talks about nirgunam. So nirgunam. Then hovacha brahmanam. So the second brahmanam talks about the nirgunam, sagunam brahma. First one talks about brahmeti nirgunam brahma. The second one talks about sagunam brahma. Etad vijaye. So victory in this manner. Mahi yadvam iti. So here Uma actually now starts to, because now Indra has approached Uma, who is of the nature of knowledge, or guru. And now when the student approaches the guru and says, you teach me, then what the teacher has to do, no, I won't teach you. It's not possible. They will, what they say, maybe the time is not right, or you wait. Or when the time is right, when the student is also very ripe, then the teacher also says, yes, now I think I should teach you this. So now the teaching, this particular 4.1 here starts the method of teaching, how one should approach the teacher and how one should have the desire for learning. And when the desire for learning is there and without finding fault in the teacher. So there must not be, see, Shastram says that one may be a good student, one may be knowing a lot of things, but still, if the teacher also can make a mistake, it should just be forgiven. It should not be taken too seriously. Because it is not the intention, should not be represented in any form. One can correct himself. Oh, it could be like this, something like this. So here also, when such an attitude, when such an opinion reflects, then it talks about also the abhimanatvam. There's an abhimanam there that I know about it, more about it. Probably you don't know more about it, something like this. So abhimanam is there, correct? And that should go down. When the abhimanam goes on, only the teaching is effective. Because the message is not about the content. What is the message is, are you getting the message? See, are you getting the essence of what is being taught, or are you paying attention to what is being represented here? If Indra was focusing only on what she looks like, or she's very beautiful, etc., whether it is she's appropriate or not, then he would be missing the point of what she's going to teach. Right? So it's very important that the student also should appreciate, should be very clear about it, that the teaching should be focused on the essence of what the person is getting, not the nitty-gritties, not the essence, nuances of everything there. Because some context will be different, some context it will be same, and the way it is said can be different. Understanding can also differ. So, is it clear, Uma?
Yes.
Any questions on today's class, Shrikantji?
No.
Okay. So we will continue from 4.1 next class. I'll unfold the Bhashyam from 4.1 next class, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Namaste.
Sir, previously you told that